Alfonso Cuarón, five-time Oscar winner Alfonso Cuarón, has a brand new TV series on Apple TV Plus. It's called Disclaimer. It stars Kate Blanchett, Kevin Kline, and Sacha Baron Cohen. It is 7 episodes long. It is a psychological thriller. We are 4 episodes into it at the moment, and boy, this thing is fucked up. It's great. I don't know where it's going, man.
The first 2 episodes were hard to get through.
Right?
Not like in
Not
a,
like
this
in
show
a
is
bad way.
Yeah.
But
It's just like, oof.
in a cringe, in a edge of your seat anxiety kind of way, right?
Yeah, it was hard to get through.
No, it was so hard to watch. Like even episodes 3 and 4, I was watching it with my wife,
I'm just going to jump in. I cannot see myself watching this with my wife.
and throughout the whole thing, she's like, I can't take this because I know something bad is going to happen. I'm just waiting for something bad to happen. Like, I know what the bad thing is because they've spoken about it in episode 1, but the way they draw it out, the way Cuarón draws it out is just, oh, the tension is insane.
I know we haven't even spoken about the show.
We haven't even told people what it's about, but wow.
So the show does these sort of like flashback type things, and that with the narration. The flashbacks never feel like flashbacks. There are flashbacks. They are flashbacks, but they are almost treated like the A plot with the current story in time almost like B plot maybe. It's done so deftly that I cannot believe that Alfonso Cuarón has never done a TV show.
Here's what Disclaimer is about. Kate Blanchett plays a award-winning documentary journalist. Her job is to uncover the secret truths about people. And that's what she's been acknowledged for. That's what she's celebrated for. Suddenly, she discovers that she is a prominent character in a novel that reveals a secret that she has long kept hidden. She isn't named, mind you, but there are enough hints that if people were to read closely enough, they would discover that it's actually her. On the other end of this story is Kevin Kline. He is a retired private school teacher. He is the one who publishes this novel and has a grudge against Catherine. The story kind of takes place in 3 segments. Like Bahe said, we follow Catherine's story, Kate Blanchett's character. We follow Stephen's story, Kevin Kline's character. And then we kind of flash back to the events that Catherine is supposedly, allegedly keeping secret. Here's what I want to know, Bahe.
Okay.
As we are seeing these stories, Catherine's story has a voiceover, Kevin Kline's story has a different voiceover. You know when we see that flashback?
Okay.
Is it the real flashback? Or is it what's happening in the novel? I can't figure that out, and I love it. I think it's a really clever trope.
For me, the question is also, how does the writer of the book know the events that transpire, right? Again, the way that Kate Blanchett's character is reacting to these stories is as if it's true. That's what happens. But then again, as you get to episode 3 and 4, you don't know who else was there. So how do these events become the book? So that's what I'm unsure about.
So in the TV series, it is Stephen's wife, Kevin Kline's wife, who writes the book.
Yes.
She has died. In the first episode, you discover she has died. She had cancer. He discovers her manuscript and publishes it. So the question is, how did she know all of the details in this book if it featured Catherine's life from many, many years ago? I have a feeling that will be explained because there are a lot of mysteries here that are slowly coming to light.
Yes, I completely agree. I think, not a spoiler, but I just want to say at one point, Kate Blanchett's character is writing down notes, trying to figure out who may have written this book, and she writes down waiter ? So I'm wondering what that's about.
Yes.
Like, it's obviously a thriller, but at the same time, it is also like a Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot style investigation into a murder or a death. So I think that's exciting. I think the fact that as I'm watching this, I'm unable to figure out the genre of the story is leaving me on the ball of my feet, and I'm constantly having to react to everything that's happening.
The thing which I love the most is the way Quaron has chosen to tell this story. In using those flashbacks, in playing with unreliable narrators, in using the novel as a kind of crutch almost to confuse you, the viewer, because you aren't sure what's real, what's imagined, what's fiction, what's not. It's very clever, and it's playing with this idea of a novel and memory and how much we actually remember and how much of what we remember is true and how much of it is actually what we've made up in our own mind, right?
I don't know if I agree with you there.
Why?
Like, I want to say I don't know if the book is fiction or fictionalized. However, with Kate Blanchett's character having read the book and the way she's freaking out, is it true? Is it all true? Is none of it fictionalized?
The only reason I think some of it's fictionalized is because the book has a definitive ending for her.
That's
Because
true.
everyone who's read the book goes, oh, she's such a bitch. She really deserved that ending.
And I want to say, I really, really can't wait to find out what that ending is.
Correct.
That's such a tease. I love it so much.
And the other thing, of course, is Quaron kind of plays with color in the way he tells the story. All of these three stories are framed very differently with regards to camera, lenses, colors, even the wipes, the slow circular fade-ins and outs, I think are really, really cool. When the first episode happened, I wasn't sure. I genuinely had no idea what was going on. And I mean that in a good way, because it kept me guessing right up until the very end when there is a plot drop, if you will, that kind of sets up the rest of the series. I thought that was done very well because it kept you on the hook. And I think that's where that Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot murder mystery type storytelling comes in. And Quaron does a very, very good job in leaning into that. I think he creates tension without having it feel like filler. You know that something bad is going to happen and you know what that bad thing is. You still don't have enough detail and you're still learning new things as it happens.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, of course, is that you're not just learning new things in the flashbacks, because that would just be unnecessary exposition. You're learning new things in the present day as well. When Kate Blanchett has to deal with her husband, played really brilliantly by Sacha Baron Cohen, who is completely playing against type. He is fantastic. And also with Kevin Kline, who is telling you the story of his wife and his son and all of the things that happened to them as well. So you're constantly learning new things throughout the series. And I think the writing is just spectacular.
But even in that, the way these things are unfolding, they're not new or surprising to the characters. They're only for you, the audience. And I think how Alfonso Cuarón, who wrote this thing as well, was able to balance that out without it being a trope, without it being a crutch, right? You're not learning new things along with the characters. When you find out that Kevin Kline's wife has died, he knows it. You didn't. You, the audience, didn't know it. When you find out Jonathan has died, you, the audience, find out. The characters in the series know it. That can be done really, really badly. Other people have tried to do that and it comes off as almost, I don't know if lazy is the word, but it comes off as almost gimmicky. Here, it never feels gimmicky. Here, it feels natural as an unfolding book does.
You know why? It's because it's in the hands of someone like Alfonso Cuarón. Because if you strip this down, Bahe, this is essentially a telenovela.
Oh, yeah.
It is soapy as shit.
Yeah.
But it's because of, I guess, the directorial chops that he brings to it. The way it looks, the way it plays out. That's why it's like an elevated telenovela.
It's not just the way it looks, but the way it is written as well. I think that's important. For a thing that is essentially about 7, maybe 8-ish hours long, it's hard. It's hard for a filmmaker who deals in 90-minute, 2-hour stories to have to work with 8 hours or 7.5, whatever it is. And I feel like that needs to be acknowledged. The other thing that needs to be acknowledged is that this is the sexiest, in inverted commas, Apple TV show I've seen ever.
Actually, they've changed their policy. That means because when they first launched, Tim Cook had said that there would not be any gratuitous sex or violence on Apple TV Plus, that it was going to be primarily family-friendly content. And for the longest time, we didn't get any nudity or sex or anything of the sort. They were trying to differentiate themselves from the gratuitousness of HBO, for example. This one goes all the way.
Look, I'm an Apple fanboy. I accept it. But the nudity and the sexual content here isn't Game of Thrones sexual content. Yes, there is nudity, but I was taken aback at the sexual content in this show. It is very sexual.
It's just very surprising being on Apple TV Plus, because for the longest time they've avoided this sort of content. Not that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it was surprising, and they've clearly changed that stance at some point.
It doesn't feel gratuitous.
No, because it's necessary to the plot.
Yeah, yes, exactly, right? It is plot driven.
It is necessary to the plot. It is necessary to the way the characters are drawn in this show.
Yeah, and also the way other characters are seeing that character.
Exactly.
So it's not just Tyrion Lannister walking into a brothel and seeing boobs. There are reasons here, and even that reason has got repercussions later on for other characters. It is not just, oh look, she's topless. It is, oh shit, she's topless. Oh no, that means something else. Yeah, it is very character-based. It is story-driven as opposed to just, hey, look, boobs.
The performances are very, very good. I mean, Cate Blanchett can do no wrong, really. Well, except maybe Borderlands. But this feels like a true follow-up to her performance in Tar. She is absolutely amazing in this.
I don't know if you know this. The actress that plays young Cate Blanchett's character?
Yeah, Layla George.
Vincent D'Onofrio's daughter.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew that she was married to Sean Penn for a while.
Yes, for a while, yes.
But I didn't know she was D'Onofrio's daughter.
Vincent D'Onofrio's daughter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
The cast is phenomenal. Cate Blanchett, Kevin Kline is amazing as he is in everything. Sacha Baron Cohen, Leslie Manville plays Kevin Kline's wife. Louis Partridge, who was in Enola Holmes, but is now just known as Olivia Rodrigo's boyfriend. Indra Varma does the voiceover, or one of the many voiceovers in the show. And then, of course, Cody Smith-McPhee as well.
Which narrator was she?
Indra Varma does the voiceover for Cate Blanchett.
Oh.
Which is weird, because I don't know why they got her to do Cate Blanchett's voiceover, but then Kevin Kline to do his own one.
Kevin Kline, in air quotes, wrote the book, right?
Right. So actually that's true, because when Indra Varma is doing the voiceover, she doesn't say me, she says you.
Yes.
You walk into the room and you see something happening, as opposed to I walk into the room.
I will say I did not pick that up. As in, I did not pick up that it wasn't voiced by Cate Blanchett, because it sounds a lot like Cate Blanchett.
It does sound a lot like her, yes.
Yeah, Indra Varma does a great voiceover.
We really recommend you check out Disclaimer. However, it is not for the faint of heart. The disclaimer that we will give you before watching Disclaimer is, if you are prone to anxiety, this is only going to make it worse.
Yes.
But it is a great show. I can't wait for the next 3 episodes. I really want to know what happens. And I hope Alfonso Cuarón sticks the landing, because this is one of those shows where the ending really has to mean something.
Oh, yeah.
It's building up to something intense, and the ending really has to work. Check out Disclaimer. It is now showing on Apple TV Plus. Let us know what you think once you've seen it. You know how to reach out, Goggler MY, all of our social media feeds. You can also email us on podcast@goggler.my, or send us a WhatsApp on the Goggler hotline, 012-524-5208. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Goggler Podcast.